drivers coming into this weekend in Formula 2 and one of the most closely contested seasons we have had in this championship's history. Who would be next to start from the front of the grid as we went qualifying around the Hungaroring circuit? Drivers pushing to stay within the limits. Leo Fornaroli trying to get after another pole position as we went for our final runs. It was pushing to the limit and pushing to pole position for the very first time would be Roman Stanek leading and Invicta Racing 1-2, their first since Silverstone in 2019. That is how the front row will line up tomorrow for the feature race. Today it is the sprint race where we reverse the top 10, and this the challenge they have ahead for 28 laps of sprint racing today. No compulsory pit stop. That won't be the case tomorrow when we have the feature race. The medium and the soft tyre have to be used. 2 DRS zones to play with. They'll become active at the end of 2 racing laps, and we have just 12 points between the top 5 in the championship as we come into round 10 of 14 in this Formula 2 season. And the crowds are packing in. They love their support series racing here at the Hungaroring. The scene nicely set here to call you through the action. Myself, Chris McCarthy. Alongside me is Alex Brunt.
It's a hot one at the Hungaroring, just coming up to 2:15 local time, and 51 degrees of track temperature, 28 degrees in the air. It'll be Pepe Marti, twice a race winner this year, who'll take them away from the front of the grid in what is an easier tyre decision for the sprint race than it was last year. Medium compound tyres available to teams and drivers. It was a compound jump between the hard and the soft last year, not so this year. The medium compound, the better tyre, the harder tyre of the two available for this sprint race, which will be run over 28 laps. A real challenge on the tyre here at Hungaroring, and a real challenge in terms of overtaking as well. 2 DRS zones, one of them down towards the first corner, but it's a tight circuit, it's a twisty circuit, it's a circuit where they're going to want to get the 450 metres down towards that first corner on the first lap absolutely right, because it's tricky to make a move after that.
It is. It's going to be about holding on to that tyre. The track temperature up to 51 degrees here. It's going to be hot out there. This is how they're going to
line up for the sprint for Formula 2. We have Sebastian Montoya and Jean Shields on 21st and 22nd on the grid. Max Esterson and Kush Miney, P20 and P19 on this grid. Of course, the grid reversed. Top 10, Semi Mega Tunif P18 and Romeo Miata in P17. Rafaela Villagomez in P16, John Bennett in P15. Dino Bogdanovic in P14, Emery Cordial in P13. Gabriel Mini in P12, Richard Rashir in P11. The worst spot to be starting within this sprint. Roman Stanek and Leonardo Fornaroli, with Roman Stanek taking pole position for the feature. Jack Crawford and Luke Browning 8th and 7th on this 7th and 8th on this grid. Joshua Dirksen P6 and Oliver Goethe in P5. Victor Martins and Arvid Limblad in P3 and 4. That also continues on with Alex Dunn and Joseph Maria Marti on the front row of this grid. We've got quite the epic sprint coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. It is sprint race action time for Formula 2. Of course, this is not the only race this weekend. We still have the feature. The formation lap gets underway for this race. Of course, it is 28 laps around this circuit. 37 for the feature tomorrow, which will make it just that little bit more interesting as well. This will be quite important for Maria Marti, who's on that front row of the grid next to Alexander Dunn, who has been quite good in the recent past. Let's take a listen to our top 3.
Good starts recently, so just want to get a good start. Try and get stuck in on lap 1. Make some moves if there's opportunities, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't have much to lose, so just going to get stuck in if there's anything that comes.
Definitely, I think we're quicker than where we're starting, and I also think our race pace generally is stronger than our quali pace. And I think with high egg and hot temperatures, that usually suits us more.
Hopefully get a good race and get the win, and then focus on Sunday as much as possible. Try to get more than 10 points on Saturday would be ideal. And then if we can go happy to the Summit Break, then I'll have no thoughts about racing for a couple of weeks.
Gotta hope you have no thoughts about racing for a couple of weeks, because that is the time to not think about racing. Which is that summer break period. That's exactly why these drivers get that summer break. Leonardo Fornaroli is starting P10 in this sprint. Richard Verschuur in P2 in the championship, starting P7 in this one. Jack Crawford up there as well. Alex Dunn, Luke Browning sitting P5. Alexander Dunn, though, he will be on the front row of the grid. He'll be pressuring Marty off the grid. And this will actually be a good finder for the Formula 1 teams as well, to watch this Formula 2 start and get a good indication as to where they are as to where this start will go. This will be the second lot of action in terms of grabbing these cars off the grid. Who will win the battle at turn 1? Will it be Marty, or will it be Alexander Dunn? The green flag will wave at the back of the grid. Green flag, and the medical car at the back. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go for the Formula 2 sprint, and there's yellow lights in the background, but it's Joseph Maria Marti who gets offline nicely. One of the Red Bull cars in the background getting also a pretty good start. Alex Dunn, though, with not the best start, as they all file down into turn number 1. Marty leads, and it's a beautiful job there, as Alex Dunn has just dropped a position into P3. 28 laps around this circuit. They all file in 2 by 2. Luke Browning slotting in there in P7. Car off the road. That's one of the AIX cars off the road, as they all make their way now up into turn 3. Using that apex curb, getting the ultimate rotation that is up the inside there, looking for moves, as it is Red Bull 1-2. The Red Bull livery 1-2 leading this race. It's been a beautiful start. One of the Invicta cars there running side by sides. There with Roman Stenik. Further back down, that's Kushmani side by side with Joshua Dirksen. Contact! And to that is Roman Stenik, our pole sitter for the sprint. Contact for Roman Stenik, what looked to be. No, yes, that was Roman Stenik, our pole sitter for the feature. Not good. Leo Fornaroli up here, looking up the inside there on Luke Browning. But it's all kicking off here in the F2 sprint. Kushmani covering off Joshua Dirksen. Around the outside is Semi Megatunov. Continuing to try and look for that move. Trying to look for an opportunity that opens. But it is Marty and Lindblad. What a start from Lindblad, as Marty there just locking up. And that is up the inside there for Leonardo Fornaroli. That move done there on Luke Browning. Sorry, that's Ollie Goethe trying to get that move done. And Beganovic will also try and take control of this. They're going to side by side through turn 5. I think turn 2. I think that was just able to be done without any contact. Good start from our championship leader, Leonardo Fornaroli, who's now sitting P7 in this race. Marty and Lindblad, Invicta 1-2 not Invicta 1-2 here, but it will be a very, very good start there from the two Red Bull livery cars. And then the Roden team of Alexander Dunn in P3. Victor Martins, and then we have Crawford, Luke Browning, and then Fornaroli, Brashear, Goethe, and Beganovic in P10. So good start from everybody inside that top 10. Still 26 laps to go. Still enough time for this race to change things on its head. Here's one of the Invicta cars pulls out, and that is Roman Stanek up the inside of Max Esterson as they will run side by side here through turn 13. They're confident enough. I think they are. Stanek tries to hold it around there. Not going to happen. Out in the dirty stuff, but he's going to get the move done as he has the inside run for the next corner. He was able to stick it around there at turn 13, but now it's going to be a drag reduction system race down the front straight, and that Invicta has some pretty good straight line speed to be able to keep Max Esterson behind. It's Gabriel Mini, though, who has the fastest lap of the race, 1:36.1. As up the inside is Roman Miata, looking for that move. He does get that move done on Max Esterson. Max Esterson now drops back down to P22 on this grid. Luke Browning gets the move done there on Leonardo Fornaroli, so he's dropped back to P7 Fornaroli. Of course, no pit stops in this one. It's going to be about tyre conservation. And does Fornaroli really want to tyre conserve? Probably not. Not in this sprint. It is not really worth it when you're in a championship fight. Remember, he'll get 3 points. Of course, it's 10 points for the race win in the sprint, which is some big points when it comes to the sprint. Of course, when it comes to the feature, you'll be in for 25 whole points for that feature race. 6/10 separates Marty and Lindblad, and then the two MP Motorsport cars, P8 and P9, and they're going to be attacking the back of Leonardo Fornaroli. So the two teammates, the MP Motorsport cars, attacking the back of Leonardo Fornaroli. His teammate, who's on pole for the feature, is P20 at the moment. And he would have been told that over the radio as well as to where his teammate sits in this race at the moment. I don't think Stanek has any damage, which is always a good sign. Sebastian Montoya, though, now has the fastest lap of the race. He's down in P14, though. So that Prema car has a bit of pace here in the early stages of this one, as we continue to go on. This is lap 4. This is the race start. So good start there from Marty. Alex Dunn didn't get a perfect start, but look at the start there from Lindblad in behind. He went side by side as they run down into turn 1. The dust being kicked up there on the outside as it's tried to go around the outside. Lindblad, that wasn't going to happen. So he's stuck in P2. Marty there. Dunn tried to fight it. It wasn't going to happen. But look at the start here for Fornaroli. This was really important for him. It was actually a pretty good start as well, as he made his run up to turn 1. See, they're breaking a bit later as he tries to go down the inside of, I think that was Luke Browning, trying to get that move done. His teammate there on the left-hand side, up on the left-hand side there. But it was a really good start. This is Dino Beganovic. This is what happened to our feature pole sitter. Contact between... Yeah, that was the AIX car making contact, and Beganovic got a really good shot of that. So turn 9 incident under investigation. Stanek saying I got hit from behind there, Roman Stanek, and that is very much true. There was contact further back as the dust being kicked up off that off the rubber there. There's more contact off the roads. There, that's Leo Fornaroli making contact there with Roman Stanek. I don't think there was any damage done, but I think that was Roman Stanek trying to get past what was Max Esterson at the time. He's down in P22. 10-second time penalty for car 10, Gabriel Mini, who has the fastest lap of the race at the moment, but that won't matter because he's not inside the top 10. Speaking of that, Roman Stanek takes it off him on lap 5. But Gabriel Mini gets a 10-second time penalty. So that's big for Gabriel Mini. And if the race was to finish the way it is, he'd drop right back to P22 in this one. So he needs to get his head down. He needs to try and make as many positions as possible. and he actually was on a pretty good chance for points in this sprint, being P11 in this one, so he had a pretty good chance for points, just wasn't going to happen, as Alex Dunn there sitting in third, trying to close up here on Arvid Lindblad. That margin, just 0.6 of a second as they run through turn 13 now. The Roden car of Alexander Dunn trying to attack the two Red Bull livery machines. And of course, if this happens in Formula 1, then I think we're all going to be in for a shock. Here, as we have 22 laps to go in this one. And we have Marty leading over Arvid Lindblad. Now, the margin that we've seen here between Arvid Lindblad as now Lindblad has just taken the fastest lap of the race as Miata makes a move there on Schilling down in P21. So good move there. But yeah, that margin for 0.4 of a second. And just maintaining this gap at the moment. The top three cars. Pulling away from Victor Martins there in P4, Jack Crawford in P5, Luke Browning in P6. This is going to be quite tight between 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and even 10th. They're all really quick drivers. We've just got to let them show it here. Alex Dunn, Gabriel Mini.
Driver off track.
Okay, Gabriel, we have a 10-second time penalty for the collision with Stanek, which will be really important to finish the race, not to get a grid penalty for tomorrow.
Mini getting that information there. We have a 10-second time penalty for the collision with Stanek. It'll be really important not to get a grid penalty for tomorrow. So he needs to finish this race. Of course, in Formula 2, if you don't finish the race, will apply with a grid penalty tomorrow. Of course, Gabriel Mini will be starting P4 in the feature tomorrow. So big points going on there for Mini. What could have been Arvid Lindblad though takes once again the fast lap of the race and starts to pull away from Alexander Dunn. Those two Red Bull liveried cars are just working together. They're the two Invictors just working together here. Not the two Invictors. But those two, Marty and Lindblad, just working together, being teammates. The two Campos cars working nicely together in this one. Just 0.3 of a second between the two. 0.6 back to Dunn. Dunn is able to keep inside DRS here. It's less than 0.3 between our top two here. 21 laps to go in this sprint as we run through turn 6 and turn 7. The chicane. Turn 7, turn 8, sorry. The chicane on this circuit. Bennett Montoya incident, turn 1, forcing another driver off the track has been noted. So, John Bennett and Sebastian Montoya, that incident has been noted by the FIA. But the other thing that hasn't been noted is Marty and Arvid Lindblad. They're really just running away here, the two teammates, the two Campos Racing teammates. Just sticking behind each other, working that DRS that these Formula 2 cars get to its maximum. So, that turn 1 incident noted. But the margin, it's 0.6. So, Dunn has pace. I can see it. So does Lindblad. So, we heard that press conferences. Lindblad up inside. Lindblad will take the lead of the sprint. But it'll be a switch back here for Marty. They're on side by side, nearly wheel to wheel. Well, yes, wheel to wheel. Lindblad, if he can stick it there, he'll have the inside run. Marty has the inside run now. Better contact. They've both been forced off the road. And luckily, it was literally like a wheel in the grass there. But the Campos team telling them to fight, but not to force each other off the road. But now, look at what's happened. Alex Dunn is back there. And that was Lindblad that was forced off the road. Which was quite controversial there between those two, because they wanted to try and pull away from Dunn, the Campos team, and try and get some good points for Campos. But if they're going to fight like that, force each other off the road, then there's no point. This is the replay. So Lindblad looked up the inside, and I think he actually locked up just a little bit. He ran in too deep. Marty got the switchback on him, and they were side by side as they ran up into turn 2. This is absolutely epic side by side. But when it got to turn 3, they didn't like each other so much because it was the switchback that hurt him. Lindblad, yeah, Marty just pushed him off the road there. I don't know if the FIA will investigate that. I think that's fine, to be completely honest. I reckon that's fine. It's really just racing at this point. That margin, half a second now, and done about half a second behind. So, in terms of the championship standings, Dunn will be up in P3. Brashear in this race is P8. So the two championship rivals, Fornaroli and Brashear, are P7, P8 in this one. That's big. Fornaroli and Richard Brashear, P7, P8 in this race. So watch out for those two to have a battle and a half. When it comes down to racing in Abu Dhabi, it will be quite a finale if these two can keep their if those two can keep their wits about them. But Leonardo Fornaroli, P7, P8 in this one. That's the battle to keep an eye on here in this one, because of course they're two championship rivals, as I've said already. And Goethe just in behind his teammate, sitting in behind, probably used for a bit of backup just in case. Half a second between Maria Marti and Arvid Lindblad. 0.55 that margin as they run through turn 13. Turn 2, forcing another driver off the track, has been noted between Mega Tunif and Roman Stanek. So those two are in a bit of strife, but Stanek struggling to find his way through the field here. He's still stuck down in P20, and we've still got 18 laps to go. So still plenty of time for this race to change, if anything. So still plenty of time, still plenty of laps for this race to change, as Nerea Marti and Arvid Lindblad just stuck in behind each other. Jack Crawford still's the fastest lap of the race now. There, that's a 1:34.1 on that lap. So, good lap there from Jack Crawford. As last lap, Lindblad was about a tenth faster. I'm just plugging in my speaker here, and I think you guys still should be able to hear that. I think you guys should still be able to hear that there, but Marty still leading this race. Quite controversial here, as the Campos team speaking to themselves, just saying, why are they fighting? They shouldn't probably be fighting, and that's exact, because you want to try and keep Dunn behind as much as possible here. So probably the two Campos drivers can just work together. They can just pull away, and that would be convenient. That would probably be the best situation to be in here, as we go back to Richard Brashear and Leonardo Fornaroli. These two P7 and P8. They're first and second in the championship. Marty, over the radio. So Marty saying this is quite stupid. So that battling there not helping. So the battling that they're doing is not helping. Exactly what I said. They want to try and keep Dunn behind, but if they're going to continue to battle, it's going to be a bit of a struggle town for them in this race. Half a second though, it's more or less stable, that gap. So I reckon those two are good at the moment. It's 4/10, and Dunn using every bit of pace that he has to try and keep up with those two Campos cars. Of course, Dunn pushing a hole in the air.
Yeah, remember it's going to be a time and effort race.
Lindblad there just being reminded this is going to be a tyre management race. So Lindblad probably, you wouldn't want to drop back. You wouldn't want to drop back in behind Dunn here, because you want to try and get that slipstream and keep Dunn away, if anything. And for Dunn, you just got to push as hard as possible, because there's not much else you can do in trying to keep that gap alive, because you don't have that DRS that's so critical in these Formula 2 cars. We have 17 laps to go, 16 laps now as they cross the line. We're heading on to lap 12. So far, so good with the safety cars, or even the virtual safety cars here. So far, so good. It's half a second. The race leads that margin. Richard Rashir chasing Fornaroli here for P7. And, of course, that is his championship rival. And Fornaroli in front trying to chase down Luke Browning in this one. So, it's all kicking off here in this sprint race. Margin 0.7 of a second. Marty is just starting to pull away a little bit. Lindblad?
Sure, we don't damage the tires and we have tires left at the end. Maybe the delta is bigger at the end of the race. Okay.
Lindblad just being reminded, make sure we don't damage the tires. The tire deficit will be bigger at the end of the race. So, these tires still coming into shape and pressure, showing that the tire wear isn't as bad, but when you're pushing for 28 laps straight, that can be a real problem, as Marty Lindblad's 0.8 of a second. And there you go, he's just pulled 1 second. So that's big for this race. Lindblad has been left on his own, and Marty has now pulled away. He's just gone 1 second, dropped back down to 0.9 now. So it's hanging on the cusp here. Lindblad has gone tyre conserve mode here in this one. So Lindblad is conserving tyres, and he'll try not to let done by. That would not be the smartest idea. And these points are going to be big for Campos Racing. It'll be nearly 20 points. Well, it'll be 19 points, but close enough to 20 in this one, as we take a look at a replay of Maria Marti using the curbing there at T6 and T7. And then you've got Lindblad as well using that curbing at T6 and T7. Good replay of the cars pounding left and right over the curbs. And Alex Dunn now is going to be really pressuring Lindblad. Turn 1 incident involving cars 24 and 9. So that's Benavides and Montoya under investigation, forcing another driver off the track. That seems to be a lot. That seems to be a lot of what these Formula 2 drivers do nowadays. Force each other off the track and wonder why we get penalties. So that's what these drivers can't be doing up in front. Alex Dunn, he's chasing Lindblad right back down. 5-second penalty for Benavides for forcing another driver off the track. So that's 5-second time penalty for Benavides, who is down at the moment in... He's down in P13 in behind Dirksen. So that's big. But 5-second time penalty, that'd put him probably P17, P18 in this race. To really drop him down the field. The margin, Marty to Lindblad, is 1 second. Do Campos have a plan here? If I was Campos, I'd have a plan, because you wouldn't want Lindblad holding up Marty. You want Campos to either have their drivers fight for the win at the end here. But with what we saw on, it was like that 5, what we saw then, you wouldn't have much trust in both drivers to fight. Roman Stanek has just moved up into P18, so big lap there, as these drivers now just start to calm down just a little bit, thinking about tyre conserving, and I think Marty's doing the same thing, trying to keep these tyres alive. Turn 2, incident involving cars 22, which is Mega Tunif and Stanek, reviewed, no further action, forcing another driver off the track. It's the FIA, the stewards there, resulting that as no further action. So Stanek is safe for the moment. He has a 3.1 second margin to try and catch up to Kushmani, who's down in P17. And then you've got Cordeal, Villagomez, and Montoya in P 14, 15, 16, and 17. It's not really a big battle pack there. Further back down the grid as we ride on board here with Marty, who's leading this race. You were a race leader. We did have Lindblad lead for about not even a quarter, not even 1% of the lap, and it was quickly taken back by Marty as they ran side by side on the exit of 1, and then into 2, and then 3. And then eventually it came the way of Maria Marti, Maria Marti in this one. It's 0.8 of a second, the margin between Marti and Lindblad. Keeping on that race leading margin there. Alex Dunn in P3 just doesn't seem to have the pace. We heard Lindblad say he had the pace. Dunn said he just wanted to keep position, try and keep as many points under his back pocket as humanly possible here. So if he can do that, I reckon he'll be quite happy. This is the battle for P11 and P12. This is Gabriel Mini and Joshua Dirksen, the Prema Racing car and the AIX car. He started P6, he's now P12. I think he got forced off the road on lap 1. So I think that was Joshua Dirksen that got forced off the road there, lap 1. So that's the reason why he's further back down the grid. As Marti now has pulled 1 second to Arvid Lindblad. So that's big for the championship here for Marti. John Bennett in P13, the Van Avermaet for racing driver. Started P15, he's now P13 in this one. Here's Sebastian Montoya sitting in P14 as well. So there's just a battle between 12th, 13th and 14th. It's more or less a DRS train that they've got forming here. As this Formula 2 sprint calms down just a little bit in this one. As we are back on board here with Marti. Keeping that margin ever so slightly alive. It's 5/10 the gap as we head on to lap 16 of 28.
Closing once again. Martins has just all of a sudden closed that gap to Dunn as well. It's the top 5 altogether, really.
Elevation change through the mid-corner of turn 5. Bouncing over the curve really aggressively, the Formula 2 drivers, through turn 6 and 7. This is the area of the racetrack they struggle to follow through the mid-corner of 8 and 9. And then there's the super fast turn 11, where drivers are being incredibly well behaved, I must say, in terms of their track limits. We have had Miata off, but I really thought at this stage we'd have a similar scenario to the one we had in Spa with drivers on final warnings. Yellow flag out for a track hazard, and that looks a relatively persistent one, so let's see what that entails.
Yeah, we do have a yellow somewhere, so we'll see what, well, it's gone green now, so we will need to know more. Let's find out what happened.
There's a bit of contact then.
It's Cordial, and I believe that is number 25, Villa Gomez.
Just one of those incredibly expendable front wing end plates. Jouncing off the outside there for Villa Gomez, side by side down towards turn 1.
Yeah, that's Amaury Cordial trying to make a move on Kush Maini, or the other way around. Shall I say Maini looks to be in 15th place, Cordial behind, and just behind this Stanek, who we saw being spun round at the start of the race, catching in on this as well. So Maini 15th, won the sprint race here last year, did Kush Maini. 15th place, wasn't a good qualifying for him yesterday.
Only driver in the field who has won a race around here. 9 different winners so far this season. Such is the nature of this year's Formula 2 Championship. Incredible proximity in terms of points. Up the front of the standings as well, with anyone really in the top 6 able to take the championship lead, really, mathematically over a weekend and realistically over a weekend of Formula 2 racing. Remembering, of course, that there are more points given out per weekend of Formula 2 than there are in Formula 1. The 2 races available, both point scoring, of course, and then the fastest lap points and associated qualifying points as well.
Yeah, 39 points available each weekend. I can't remember Formula 2 season where we have seen so much swapping for the championship leagues. There are always very consistent. Always Jack Crawford is right with Victor Martins now. And we talk about swapping places in championship terms. This is one of the leading drivers in the championship. Going forward as Gabriele Mini is coming to the pit lane. He'll serve his 10 seconds, and it looks like he's going to make a gamble.
So we're not going to go anywhere, say Prema for Gabriele Mini. We're not going to score any points. So let's have a bit of a gamble on a safety car here for a set of soft tyres and also serve the penalty at the same time. What that would do is put him at the front of the queue of those that stop now on a soft tyre if there were to have a safety car at this stage.
It's worth a go, isn't it, for Prema Racing to do that? They're within that window now. Why not for the Prema Racing team? And they've served that penalty, so they're at no risk of having to, as we mentioned earlier, carry that penalty into tomorrow now, in case something were to happen to Mini in this race. Alex Dunn, right with Lindblad, and this is the closest I think we've seen him going into these two corners.
The Papaya Rodin, looming large in the wing mirrors of Arvid Lindblad. Area of the circuit where the driver behind you just keeps on popping up in your mirrors. You're always aware of it onto this front straight, and you can see the difficulty though through the exit of 14. DRS open for Lindblad, a toe then for Dunn. Is this going to be an opportunity down towards turn one? It'd have to be a very late one, and it is for Alex Dunn. That is very late indeed.
Big send from Alex Dunn down to turn one there, and that is a fantastic move from the Irishman going into second place. Left it very late on the brakes and caught Arvid Lindblad napping, and he's going to go into second place, and that's a crucial move in this race because he's now split the Campos Racing drivers.
Came from the other side of town there. Alex Dunn sent it special delivery down the inside of turn one. Look at that. That must be 4 car lengths back, and he's caught him completely by surprise.
One of the moves of the season from Alex Dunn. Let's watch that back again.
Brilliant stuff. The late move, so similar to what Arvid Lindblad was able to do to Pepe Marti, but Dunn just getting that overlap there to stop Lindblad cutting back underneath.
Superb stuff. Alex Dunn gets himself ahead of Arvid Lindblad. He's between those two Campos drivers now, and he's got his eyes set on Pepe Marti, and all of a sudden Pepe Marti, you mentioned, Alex, this the part of the track where you've always got a car full of, you've got your mirrors full of the car behind. It's going to be the papaya now of Alex Dunn.
19 of 28, Alex Dunn's hit the blue touch paper, and it is all of the pace that he's got now. We talked about how much speed they have over a race run down at Rodin, and it's Lindblad who's really under pressure now, as well as you point out, Chris, from Victor Martins once more.
Yeah, Victor Martins looks like he's going to make a move. This for the podium places in towards the first corner. Watch the ART driver in the background. He's going to look to the outside. Arvid Lindblad is not being overtaken. 2 laps in a row down to turn one, but I don't think he'll have any defence to the DRS down to turn 2, or will he? He's going to put up a fight, and Victor Martins goes to the outside. He's going to get the cut back there, and they'll be side by side down to turn 3. Arvid Lindblad just holds on as Crawford is now going to grab a place on the exit. That exchange between the pair has given Jack Crawford 4th place.
Martins forced to lift, and Crawford just scoops up the position through the exit of turn 3. Lindblad battling now for all he's worth. All the radio chatter, they were right, weren't they, at Campos? You need to keep the tyre underneath you, Arvid, otherwise you're going to be under pressure through the end of the race.
Yeah, the tyre has fallen away now, and Jack Crawford just waiting to pick his moment. We've got the 2 Williams back drivers behind, Martins and Browning, who has caught this. Fornaroli right there, for sure right there as well. They are queuing up behind the British driver.
Yeah, Crawford really looking like he's going to have the opportunity to have a go. Nothing doing down towards turn 12. It's such a short run then to turn 13, but Lindblad's going to be under pressure as he heads then down towards turn 1 because he's fallen out of DRS range of the battle ahead.
This is damaging though. The gap is climbing. It's really extending here. It was 2.1 seconds at the start of this lap, and it looks like it's going to be on 3 seconds out of the final corner. 3.6 it is now as we cross the line, and Jack Crawford will have to get this move done. Down towards the first corner he goes, to the right. That is Jack Crawford. To the left on the inside is Arvid Lindblad, putting up a fight to try and hold on to the podium places, and he's just held on for now. But Jack Crawford wants to try and find a way through, and he's going to be forced a long way round. Once again at turn 2, are we going to have this out through the flat out turn 3? Arvid Lindblad holds the place for now, but look at that gap extending to the top 2. It's now over 4 seconds.
Over the dust and the dirt, down towards turn 2. Lindblad closed the door and padlocked it, but they're queuing up for a go. It's take-a-ticket stuff to try and go for the last step of the podium here.
How long can he put up this fight for? We're on lap 21 of 28, and Alex Dunn right with Pepe Marti. That could be a move coming for the lead very soon. This Luke Browning versus Victor Martins in the background. The high-tech driver trying to get past the ART driver, both supported by the Williams Driver Academy. This, though, is for the lead. That's Pepe Marti and Alex Dunn. Alex Dunn has been saving his tyres in this race whilst those 2 Campos drivers were battling. And now Arvid Lindblad is falling away in this race.
It could be a critical overtake, couldn't it, for Crawford? You can see the live points there at the bottom of the screen. This move on Arvid Lindblad would give Crawford points that could be critical come the end of the championship. We saw Alex Dunn sitting just a second away from the 2 Camposes battling at the front of the field. Is that going to pay dividends now?
Yeah, it will draw him level with Richard Verschoor, but Verschoor is in that queue. Lindblad knows it, and he's trying to defend as best he can. Crawford will be getting so frustrated because he can see the top 2 are escaping, and those are more valuable points for him in this championship. At the same time, though, he needs to hang on to these points. Side by side we go. Round turn 3, and once again, Lindblad is holding on.
He's got in a rhythm now of being able to defend down towards turn 3. Crawford is going to bully some space on the way into turn 4 and force Lindblad to go in tight. He manages to keep it on the road just through the exit of 4. Safety car is deployed.
Safety car is out, and it's for Sebastian Montoya, the Prema Racing driver. Now, will we see drivers gamble here? We got to Montoya is out of the car. He's pulled over down the start-finish straight. Gabriele Mini did come in for soft tyres. Are we going to see anyone else come in? You mentioned that was to get in.
Gabriele Mini will be in a really good position within the last 6 laps of this race. We heard he came in taking that penalty, putting on those soft compound tyres, and now everybody else is going to come in. Well, at least I think. Now, this is going to be a lifesaver for people like Lindblad. It's not going to help Dunn, because Dunn probably had the best tyres out of that top 10 group. And Sebastian Montoya explains to his team as to why he is DNF'd out of this race. And obviously it seems as if there's no power in that car. So the car just had no power, it seems, with 5 laps to go. This is going to help Gabriele Mini. He could be on to win this race, but with about 10-lap-old soft compound tyres. I'm guessing those were qualifying tyres, because you'd want to save the new softs for the end for the feature. This is what happened as Victor Martins around the outsides. Nearly contact, but it was close enough, and that was Victor Martins getting real out wide. And that was side by side there with Alex Dunn and Victor Martins. Sorry, that was Lindblad getting sideways. We saw that earlier. And Victor Martins loses that spot as well. So this is Sebastian Montoya pulling off to the right-hand side with a problem in that car, which is why we are under safety car, and he's just stopped on the right-hand side of the circuit. He could have boxed. He could have come to the pit lane, but never decided to. You can see those brakes there. Extremely hot. Pulling tyre temperature. Those tyres, those brakes, extremely hot. It's going to take a couple laps to try and get that car out of the way, but the safety car is out. And it's only taken 23 laps who boxes, who doesn't, who comes into the pit lane. Doesn't seem as if anybody's taking that gamble to go onto the soft tyres. So Gabriel Mini will be in a very good position at the moment. Does anybody box? You wouldn't think anybody would box. As Alex Dunn. There, this is Alexander Dunn. Safety car. Was that the... Oh, okay, so that was done.
I think this brake tested me. That was so dangerous. Yeah, copy, mate. What was he doing?
There you go, Nerea Marti. Really brake checking Alex Dunn. Wow, so it was obvious. So that safety car came out at the wrong time. Nobody's boxed. This has helped Gabriel Mini because he has the freshest tyres on this grid. He can make his way through the field with 4 laps to go. I reckon he can probably get P13, P14 out of this with that safety car. Nobody's decided to take the gamble and box for that soft compound tyre. I don't think it's really worth it. We'll just drop back down to the back of the grid. It'll be whoever flinches first. If anybody was to box, it'd be whoever flinched first. Whoever flinches first will box. And probably everybody else will box and try and flinch as well. But does Nerea Marti hold on to this? Lindblad has been saved. This is a saviour for Lindblad. It's not helped Dunn. Really, it hasn't helped Dunn. Because if everybody was to box, it would really put Alex Dunn in the bin. Really, it would put him in the mud. In terms of fresh tyres, he has the freshest tyres inside that top 5. He saved a bit of rubber on those tyres. He saved a bit of grip out of those tyres, and he'll use that within the next 2 laps in this race as much as possible. He will push like no hell to try and pull away and try and take that lead off Nerea Marti, which will be big within this safety car period. So, safety car has been deployed in this one, and that looks like there's a red light popped up there. I think that's the pit lane is closed, so that red light indicating the pit lane is closed. Gabriel Mini will be in a pretty good position here. He will have the freshest tyres on this grid, being he boxed, serving that 10-second penalty and going on to the softer rubber in this race. He will have the freshest tyres out of anybody on this grid. We have 3 laps to go in the sprint for Formula 2. We have Nerea Marti, Alex Dunn in P2, Arvid Lindblad in P3, Jack Crawford in P4, Victor Martins in P5, and the safety car is ending, so it's in this lap. The FIA have confirmed that car of Sebastian Montoya has been moved out of the way. We will get back to normal racing conditions on lap 25 of 28 in this race. The Mercedes-AMG GT3 the Mercedes AMG safety car will be in this lap. We will get back to green flag on this lap. We'll get 3 laps of absolute stunning racing between Nerea Marti, Alex Dunn, Arvid Lindblad, Jack Crawford, and Martins. Probably even the top 10 might have an epic battle here, depending on the start that Nerea Marti has. If Marti can get a good start here, he'll be in a good position. If he gets a good start, he'll be in a good position. You can see those tyres are so dead there from Richard Rocher, having to push for most of this race. They're starting to...
No news, mate. We can't report it because it's under the safety car. We will, obviously, once the safety car comes in. Get straight behind it.
So done there. Trying to get information off Marti. As you can see, those rear tyres are looking quite dead there for Marti. See how much they're graining and the rubber falling off them as we get back to green flag. Marti, those rear tyres aren't looking good on that car. But the green flag waves. The green light is on. We go back to racing with 2 laps to go in the F2 sprint. Good start from Marty as Lindblad covers off Crawford. Crawford trying to go around the outside. We have Browning looking up the inside on Villa Go. That is Victor Martins. They're running 2 by 2 as they run down into turn 3. The DRS will help. But again, the switchback going on between Lindblad and Crawford. Side by side through turn 5. It's going to end up happening. Sorry, turn 4. They make their run, as you can see in the background. Fornaroli trying to put warmth into his rubber. It will be the most important thing as they all run up into turn 5 now. As everybody's got a good start. It was mainly just the side-by-side action here between Marty and Alex Dunn. There between first and second. But what a start there from Marty. He's pulled 6/10 on Dunn. Now, what would have really hurt him is the safety car for Alex Dunn. But you can tell those tyres still have a little bit of life in them because Lindblad is struggling on those medium tyres to try and even pull a margin. Gabriel Mini has pulled 3 spots off the race start. What a start from Gabriel Mini. He's pulled up to 18th position. 5-second time penalty for Shinez, who's down in P21. So that's not good. As Arvid Lindblad being attacked by Jack Crawford. Lindblad will have the inside run for turn 1. Who breaks latest? Fornaroli having a lock up. Nearly made contact with Victor Martins up in front. But the 2 championship rivals are going to be side by side heading into turn 2. Turn 2 now. Will be quite obvious as Fornaroli pushes Verchier out to the outside of the circuit. Verchier seems to have some pretty good tyres under him. See, they're not graining up as much as what we've seen from drivers like, for example, Marty or Lindblad. Those Campos, that Campos team can't seem to keep their tyres under control. We have 2 laps to go. We have a battle. First, second, third. First and second. And then third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. And probably even 10th, which is Beganovic here, which will be scoring 1 point. If Marty can win this race, it will be big. If Lindblad can even stay P3, it will be even bigger. Jack Crawford and Luke Browning are the nearest rivals to Lindblad. So if he can keep those positions... Now, Browning would probably even want this. Lap 20, turn 3, incident involving Lindblad and Victor Martins has been noted. So Victor Martins, obviously not very happy with Lindblad there. He's dropped back down to P6 as well. So expect if Victor Martins gets back up into P4, he will make an attack as Lindblad covers to the outside. But guess who has DRS? DRS overpowers over Lindblad. Browning, Lindblad breaks late. They're going to be side by side on the exit of 1. Browning, Lindblad. Side by side, turn 3. Incident involving Lindblad and Victor Martins will be investigated after the race. Browning keeps the position and Lindblad falls back into P4. Sorry, Crawford takes the position. Now Browning, who will make an attack very much on Lindblad. Look to the outside. That's not going to happen through turn 4 as they make their run up into turn 5. If you go side by side through turn 4, you're a little bit crazy, more or less. If you go side by side there through turn 4, as the race lead now, the battle for the race lead here is on. Marty versus Alex Dunn. This is the battle for the lead. Investigation after the race. Alex Dunn, yellow flag infringement. It will be investigated after the race. That's big. As Alex Dunn, meanwhile, looks around the outside on Marty. That's not going to happen. He'll get the crisscross, but around the outside, tried Alex Dunn. Marty will push him off. Dunn off in the gravel. Off in the dirt. And guess who will still keep the lead? I think it might be Marty, but Dunn has the inside run for the next corner. Dunn will get DRS somehow, and on the final lap, it's going to be Marty who takes the win over Dunn, and then Crawford, Lindblad, and Browning in P5. What a race. And Marty just keeps that race under his toes. that's going to be investigated, I reckon. So Marty's going to be in a bit of strife. That push off the roads that we saw from Marty, pushing Dunn off the road, might be investigated in this one. Because that's definitely something he shouldn't do, pushing a driver off the road down the final corner. But the sprint win goes to Marty. He deserved it. Let's head it up to the commentators, the World Feed commentators.
Wow, a robust battle.
Yeah. Let's have a look at it.
So Dunn is going to get down towards turn 12 on the outside. Both super committed on the brakes. Beautiful positioning there. Cuts back underneath. Pepe Marti with the inside line. Dunn here critically not wheel to wheel alongside Pepe Marti, which I think will save Marti in terms of owning the track position there. Racing guidelines now are public from the FIA, and normally to own the road there on the outside of Dunn, you'd have to be wheel to wheel alongside with the front wheel alongside the front wheel. So, but I mean, super tough racing over the final couple of corners. We caught the edge of this battle. Victor Martin trying to get up the inside of Luke Browning, and he does so momentarily, at least, up the inside of 6 and 7.
Yeah, Browning then was ahead, and Browning held on to 5th place. So it was an attempted move there from Martins. Browning holding that position, but wow, there was no one passing Pepe Marti.
Oh, how do you think? How do you think? Yeah, good job, guys. Good. I was quite nice.
Well, he controlled it beautifully. Wasn't harried too much by his teammate at the beginning of the race. Then managed the restart. We have another race control message as it relates to Alex Dunn at this stage. A yellow flag infringement that will be investigated after the race.
Well done, mate. I didn't even try and make it call. He just went straight in front of the side. But he brake checked me, now he does that.
Not very happy about the driving of Pepe Marti, who's now been noted for driving erratically.
Yeah, good job. Good job. P3. Very well done. Good job. Yes, mate. What a good race. Good job, guys. That was great. Let's get another one tomorrow.
Jack Crawford, great effort from him. Let's have a look at this, because the gap really closed on that last lap.
It's going to be one to didn't catch that, did we? Pepe Marti almost drops it in turn 5. That's what puts Dunn so close to him then, onto the back straight in this final lap. Comes back through the exit and has to follow him through the middle sector. And Alex Dunn then able to attack in the final sector. In what was one to watch the socials after, but an outstanding drive from these three.
Totally agree. And Pepe Marti will climb out the car the 3rd time this season. He's a race winner in Formula 2, and that's crucial for his championship fight. He's climbing up the standings steadily in this, and he just said he wants to go into the summer break knowing he's got another win under his belt, and he's done just that, and he's got a chance to go and add to that in the feature race tomorrow. Flying with confidence now is Pepe Marti. Alex Dunn is quick to escape Parc Fermé. He is absolutely furious.
Yeah, he's not happy. He's about to sit next to the bloke he's not very happy with in the cool-down room. But a battle between the two of them, and about as tough as stuff as I've seen in a Formula 2 sprint race for a while, that, over the positions on the podium.
It really was. Pepe Marti, a big mistake in the end there, but just about managed to recover and stay ahead of Alex Dunn coming through turn 5. And now debriefing, and had to do a lot in that race to hold on to the lead, didn't he?
Well, you'd love to have put a heart rate monitor on the Campos team, wouldn't you? Yes. While that one was playing out.
Yeah.
They had a lot to be going on with. Great learning experience, that one, I think, for Arvid Lindblad.
Yeah.
Who might not have got the result he wanted, but one of those valuable in terms of the experience gained, I would say.
Yeah. There was that communication throughout the middle of the race, and I think Pepe Marti staying ahead of Arvid Lindblad throughout all of that was the difference in the end. And that is why he took another sprint race win. Anytime he takes a sprint race win, they turn out to be pretty memorable races.
Well, Alex Dunn waits for his 2 podium finishes.
Looks like they're here now.
Was it for you guys? Good. Yeah, the guys were really slow. At the beginning? Yeah. I was on the end of it. Trying to know. Some good review of the race. I like this one. You already watched it? Oh, did you already finish? Yeah. Really? Oh. Sorry, I'm a bit late.
Did you make Mercedes run by on purpose?
No, mate. I would have not wanted your pressure in the last lap. I can tell you that much. Mate, I broke for 5. Did you see it? The car just went whoop. Yeah. I lost it. I don't know why I lost it so hard. Yeah, it was fully good. Was it? Oh, so hard. I mean, he drove the first 15 laps at 0.3 for no reason. That's true. Yeah, I thought that's when I was going to be wrong.
Well, I think you might have been okay, but I think after when you were on the grass, after you took him back, and then he did.
Yeah. And then he started to fight, and then it got worse and worse.
Okay, so that is it for the Formula 2 sprint for today. Look, I'll be back, I think, for Italian F4 in about half an hour. Oh, the Suzuka 8 hours. Okay, that's good. I don't know what that's about. I didn't know that was even a thing. Okay, but, yeah, so I'll be back for Italian F4 in probably around about 20 minutes. If that, depending on what time it is. But, I'll be back for Italian F4 in about 20 minutes time for both races there. Then FRECA qualifying, which will round out my evening. I think I might throw in the F2 feature as well. So, to round out my evening, it will be Formula 2 once again. But if you guys did enjoy, hit like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in about 15 minutes for Italian F4.